Breaking moments ago, TMZ was reporting that the Bitcoin account allegedly set up to accept the funds, the money, in exchange for Nancy Guthrie remains empty at this hour. An apparent ransom deadline of 5 p.m. Arizona time is fast approaching. So yeah, now we're 4.5 hours away. You and I were talking off camera, and I know you can't share every detail, but when it comes to even an IP address to figure out the ransom note and maybe what's coming next in this whole thing after that 5 p.m. deadline, you can get to that. You can't tell us every detail, but what can you share?
Right. So there's different elements that we're looking at right now. You're looking at the ransom emails, right? That's in and of itself its own topic.
Let's start there.
The masked IP addresses. People think, you know, I'm going to send an email. It's going to be masked. No one's ever going to track me down. False. The FBI has the ability to unmask IP addresses. I know because I've done it, and I've seen it happen in large cases that have gone to court and been federally upheld, and so it is absolutely possible. But what it requires is digging through certain layers of information. That does take time, but it is possible. Do
you think 9 days are enough time?
That's a good question. Like I said, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of, and so law enforcement is not going to show their hand right now. They're not going to show everything that they're capable of doing. Certainly not the FBI, because that's what they do. They keep it quiet and confidential to maintain the integrity of the investigation. But I think you've got the ransom email. Again, we've all been talking about it. It's either legitimate, they're a hoax, or they're a false flag and a distraction. And we're about to find out. Those ransom emails may have absolutely nothing to do with Nancy and her whereabouts. But on the flip side, they may. And that's, again, what the family's working with the FBI to determine what's the legitimacy of this. Now, when we look at, the masking of the IP addresses, that's one way to mask their identity. The other way that everyone's talking about is Bitcoin. Back in the day, it was, hey, we'll give you cash. Hey, we'll send it here. Not anymore. Bitcoin is highly sophisticated for individuals, and it is something that we knew that in the FBI, we were getting trained on their techniques, and they use it for a purpose. But every single transaction is recorded and documented on the blockchain, and that is visible. You can see that. But what you may not be able to see initially is a non-traceable wallet. But again, with certain investigative techniques and things that the FBI can do, they can get to the bottom of that. But the key is, if you ever want to cash in that money, so let's say you get $6 million, what good is that if you can't actually utilize that? In order to cash that in with a U.S. institution, you're going to have to provide a name, a social security number, identifiers in order to use that. You could let it sit in the wallet indefinitely, but what good is that? Or, again, I'm not going to go into any ideas. There's other things that, again, the FBI, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, I think you better. So, Paul, the end-to-end transaction, if you will, the beginning of it with the money in the account hasn't happened. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, I think it means that there is no level of trust there from the Guthrie family because they have not gotten any proof of life. And I think that there's got to be still some real question as to whether or not the two notes are coming from the people who actually have their mother, because proof of life is comparatively simple. You can come up with something that's very unique, very idiosyncratic from, let's say, Savannah's childhood or something like that, even if you don't want to put the mother on camera or something like that. But you could do that, too.
Why couldn't you put the mother on camera?
You could. They may be worried about the comms. Is it traceable? Is the metadata going to show something that the FBI can pull out? And the good news here is that you got the FBI who are the best at this. So that's one of the...
AI.
At this AI stuff, at tracing AI, because you can use AI against AI, tracing the Bitcoin, all of that stuff, that goes on. Think of it as a pocketbook that everybody can see. The problem for them is that when you go to it, you can't buy, groceries with Bitcoin yet, anyway. So when they go to take it out, that's, as I was talking about earlier, that's the vulnerability. And that's the thing that you are hoping you can see at some point. But as I said earlier, if it happens someplace that you can't get to, North Korea or something, then, you're sunk.
Donna?
I mean, do we have to think, and Nicole, you may be able to answer this, do we have to think that the letters that they have, these two letters, that the FBI must think that there's some validity to them? Because as we've seen, there's already been arrests for people who have sent fake notes. So, there must be some level there where they feel like there's some validity here, or otherwise, wouldn't they have made arrests already? Like, if they can figure out that some are fake, why do we not know a little bit more about these at this point?
Right. So, again, without going into the details of what's happening behind the scenes, they're not going to close the door on any potential piece of evidence. Let's say that they think something is or is not legitimate. The FBI, their key is open communication. They want as many data points of evidence digitally in whatever format. So let's say every time they post on Instagram, and then there's a response, and then there's an email. Every single thing is a digital trail of potential evidence. And so a lot of times you may think, oh, they're going to solve the case off of this particular point, when in reality, what the FBI is doing is they're taking all the digital artifacts and they're piecing it together in a timeline. And they're looking, okay, how can we continue to keep the lines of communication open? Again, they may have information that this is not accurate. Maybe the Guthries don't intend to pay this. We don't exactly know what's happening, but I promise you the key is communication. And what the Guthries want is they want immediacy. What the offenders want is they have been looking for time. And what Savannah did in that video, they basically are pushing their hand and they're saying, let's go. You are no longer in control. We are. You have run out of time and we are willing to pay. So put up or shut up.
So this is about engagement with whomever may have her. But you know, what's interesting too, Emily, if it turns out that nothing happens at 5 p.m., they don't pay the money, they don't have any more engagement, then perhaps what you have is a situation where that wasn't real. Now they can focus on something else.
Yeah, essentially ruling out.
Yeah.
But wait, I just want to sort of clarify what you said, because I want to make sure I understand. I thought the urgency is for both parties, for all parties, because of course the families want their mother back, of course, but also the alleged captors want their money. So aren't they the ones that were demanding this soon time frame? And then when you said U.S. institutions earlier, but what if, to Paul's point, the receiving institution is out of this country, then it seems, what then in terms of capturing and identifying?
That's a great question, because if it's outside of the country, then do you really think that they have Nancy's mother? Or do they really have Nancy Guthrie? So then it leads to, okay, that's probably
you just put it out of the, like for the Cayman Islands, right? Like something like that, like a shielded account.
Right, but to ever bring it into the U.S. to be utilized in the United States, an institution of $6 million transaction, they're going to...
There's a middle, they call it an exchange, and there's a middleman that does it, and there's a lot of scrutiny on those. And so as a result, you got to do it someplace else. And let's remember, the arrest they made, that was a knucklehead attempt. Like, you know, your average high schooler could have broken that.
All right.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.